conflicto, ni me levanto del piso. Yo soy testigo de gritos y celos, de chasquear de ni audios bien feos. Ex que regresa, suegra que espía, secretos tan duros que rompen familias. Aquí lo contamos sin miedo al lloriqueo, con pelos, señales y hasta el voceo. No somos jueces, tampoco terapia, solo te traemos lo que nadie sabía. Si eres adicto al drama como tu vecina, prende los audífonos y pásame la esquina. Esto es Adictos al Drama, el podcast donde el chisme se sirve con llama.
Welcome everybody, my friends, Adictos al Drama. Today I have a special guest. He is my partner in crime, my partner in chaos. Believe it or not, we know each other for about probably more than 10 years or for a while. We agreed on mental health is the main topic, and I think that everybody is affected by mental health right now.
Yeah.
So including me, I don't know about you.
I'm a mental health. Right? Okay. I'm a mental health billboard.
We're all crazy. Estamos locos, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yes. We're the sum of many broken parts.
My first question, George.
Okay.
Do you feel like mental health has become a trend?
Yes, in many ways, right? No, I believe that mental health is real, right? I believe that there is an issue with mental health. And I think we can really break it down into two parts, to be honest with you. I think the first part, I always speak on the behalf of the minorities. I'm a professional minority. I've been like this my whole life, right? And I think for many of us, we called mental health for so long, we've called it crazy. And then, or if we knew someone had an issue, we would go, just pray about it, right? And so we use religion as a band-aid, and we never really addressed it in our communities. So it shows itself up in many ways. We recognize it when it starts showing itself up in negative manners, right? But then you have now this generation here that everybody wants to have an issue. Like everybody wants something wrong with them, and the people that actually have mental health don't want an issue. And the people that don't have that do have mental health issues don't want them. The ones that do have it, you know what I'm trying to say. The people that do have it don't want the mental health issues, and the people that don't want to glamorize it for likes on social media, and or to fit in somewhere.
But then you're talking about those that want to try to fit in. They have an issue. Mm-hmm. Most of the problems that we have with mental health comes from genetics, right? Mm-hmm. We all know that sometimes disease or probably some brain chemistry, we born with something wrong in our DNA, right? Mm-hmm. That is number one. Then we have the environment. Mm-hmm. So yes, it's becoming a trend, but because the environment nowadays, technology is affecting everybody, including you, including me, including your parents, including your grandmother, your grandfather. Where like they don't know technology, but they can go on TikTok, they can go on Facebook. They see something they don't like. They see the neighbor doing something, and so many feelings related to technology because we don't know how to handle that. And after COVID, added to that, and it is crazy. The mental health is real, right? And sometimes people pretend to have mental health, but when they pretend, to me, you have an issue.
I think sometimes it becomes your reality.
Exactly.
Right? That thing that you think of the most and you do the most frequently then becomes your reality. So if you keep telling yourself you're crazy or there's something wrong with you, then your perspective on everything becomes that issue. Right? If I keep saying my life is falling apart because of this, my life is falling apart because of that, it will eventually fall apart. Because your perspective of how you see things becomes your reality. But I think what people have to understand a portion too is all of us have things that are going on. Everybody has something going on, and the sooner and the quicker you realize that life is going to life everybody. No one is exempt from life. The sooner you can start dealing with those challenges. But people just think, like you said, with social media, you think everybody has it together all the time. And you're like, no, we're all fucked up.
Exactly.
To some extent. We're just functioning dysfunctionals.
And added to that, so we have genetics, we have environment, right? life experiences. Is you can stop that. Whatever happened in your childhood, and I always believe it's gonna affect the rest of your life, and that can become an issue. I wouldn't speak about these issues, right? That we experience in our life. That you don't know that you had a problem, but then you're 18 years old, and then you go back to when you were 2 years old, and something happened. So that creates a trauma. But sometimes we can identify that.
And I think anxiety is stressing over the future, right? You can't control the future, but you can fix now. So we get anxiety because we're trying to control something that hasn't even happened yet. We're planning these scenarios that the worst is going to happen, and it hasn't even happened yet. So it gives you anxiety, right? And then depression is stuff that's already happened in the past. It's already done. You can't go back and change it. You can't make your parents be better parents. You can't make the ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend be a better ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. It has already happened. So one thing I think I do very well is compartmentalizing and go, this is what I have to fix today. And oftentimes you'll know that, to your point, that your childhood is affecting you because it starts playing out in your adult life in negative ways. And you don't see it until it starts happening in negative ways.
Don't open the Pandora box. Because there are so many issues you put in a box, or your brain put it there because that is something that you don't want to face. So, for instance, to me, there are so many memories that I don't remember. I don't remember. I had an issue with, like, probably when I was in high school, and I don't remember some people's name. It's weird because it's in your brain, it's in a box. When it's gonna be open, it's gonna cause a lot of issues, you know.
But I think you have to make peace with your demons. You can't deny that it didn't happen.
Have you done it?
Yes. I shared a story with you last time.
How many demons have you make peace with it?
A lot. But I think I shared during the last podcast, the one we previously did, where I was telling you about a time I talked to myself. I don't know about y'all, but me, myself, I talk to myself. And I can have a full conversation with myself. And I don't know if that's mental health, but it's therapeutic to me to talk to myself. And I was sharing the story with you about the time I was just getting ready one day, and I was talking to myself in the mirror. Then all of a sudden, I am crying and talking to everything that has ever happened to me in my life, you know, that I forgot about, that I thought I was over with, that I didn't know was bothering me. I talked to past people that may have wronged me, past family members that may have wronged me in that mirror, and I cried and talked until it was out of my system. And at that point, it was like something was lifted off of me. Like, I didn't know that I was carrying that, because to me, I felt like my life was normal. I didn't feel like I needed that until I had it. And so when we say open up Pandora's box, sometimes you got to open it up to free yourself. Like, I'm free now. You can't bother me.
So, I mean, like, I will talk about myself. Like, 3 years ago, I had this issue at work that caused me a lot of trauma. I was not the victim, but I felt so mistreated. And it was like there were no justice what happened, right? And I remember this old woman. I call her Cachichurris, just to name her like something out of like a funny name. But if I see her, I don't know if I want to open the Pandora box. I'm not ready. Sometimes you have to let the body heals, you know, because I understand you have to talk to people in order to let go of things you hold. Because if you hate somebody, it's not against the person, it's against you, because you're holding that feeling. But sometimes you need to wait till the right moment to do it, right? And I agree with the fact that the more you find your demons and address your issues, you're going to be free, because at the end we want to be free, right? And we are like in a cage with our thoughts, right?
Maybe that's why I talk to myself.
Yes.
Just let my thoughts go. Yeah.
So honestly, I talk to myself. I try to talk to God as well. Think about what is the best scenario, what is the best decision I can make. But honestly, sometimes I go down to places that I don't want to be there. And I think it's not because I want to be, my thoughts start leading towards that. So speaking of environmental thing, right? Like work, that caused a lot of anxiety, stress. I was a teacher for more than 12 years. Believe me, when I started, like I was like shining. I was just so happy. I was full of energy, and I love to teach. I love to guide these kids to a better future. But being around so many things, the system, the injustice of everything, made me quit. And I quit because I wanna help myself to heal. Because being in that situation, it was so toxic that I cannot continue no more in that place. So sometimes you have to step away of what is causing that damage to heal. Because sometimes facing the problem is fine, but you have to give it time.
All things need a resolution. I don't think I am the master of when I'm done with someone, I'm done. And I don't know if it's genetic because most of my family, or I know my siblings and things like that. When I say I'm done with you, I'm done. I don't have to give you a resolution. I'm resolved. And I think sometimes people feel like they have to resolve this problem. So you're just going in this vicious cycle of trying to get this person to accept how you feel wronged or what they did. That's not for them. It's for you. So when I make the decision that I'm done with whatever situation that is or whatever person that is, that was for me. It wasn't for them.
But it is you, right? That has the power. But for some people, they don't have that tool developed. We all have the power to decide what you can control what comes in, right? But most of the time, we fear not be able to face those demons. So my body eventually is gonna heal my brain, my system. So after I left education, I feel better. I feel more energized. And you ask me, you go back to teach? I would say no, no.
So you're saying give yourself a reset. I think we can use the metaphor of like a trash can, or a trash bag, right? In life, we're just picking up as we go along. And we're just carrying and carrying and carrying and carrying and carrying more things as we go throughout life. At some point, you either got to start unloading some of this stuff because the bag becomes too heavy to carry, or sometimes you just have to leave it. So you do have to be aware of what we're carrying, I believe. You can't go through life delusional, like I'm not carrying anything. At some point, you have to, I believe, not be so delusional. And I'm very optimistic, but you can't be so delusional to just feel like, okay, I'm just going to compartmentalize, and this stuff is not going to eventually catch up with me. I think you compartmentalize some things you forget about, but some things you have to maybe not confront the other person, but you have to free yourself. Find a way to free you. And it may be getting away from that person and never addressing it with them again.
Sometimes.
Now, sometimes you may need to go back and scratch a bitch's eyes out. You never know.
So what do you think about when people say, like, fake it till you make it?
Yes.
You have to make sure that you have to believe it. Believe it. Fake it. Eventually, you're going to heal. Right?
And I think we all wear masks, right? And so there may be the mask you put on when you're at work. You're that person when you're at work, right? And then you put on a different mask when you're with your family. You're that person in that environment, right? And then you may put on a different mask when you're in a different situation, right? It doesn't make it not you, but you are doing what is necessary in that moment to get yourself through. Because nobody knows what's going on in the back of your mind. You may get in the car and fall apart, But I made it through this moment, and the more you continue to do that, I believe the more you start making yourself aware of, like, I can get through this. I did it yesterday. I can do it again today.
What if you can't? Like, have you gone to therapy?
I accidentally went to therapy And it was the best accident that ever happened to me. It was the best. So I'm going to date myself a little bit. So before social media, you had to get the newspapers for everything. And one time I was probably just starting college, so I had to be like 19 or 20 or something of that nature. And I picked up a publication I was reading to look for something to do that weekend, because that's how you found out what parties were going on or events that were going on. And I saw a little article that was like this group that was getting together, and it was between this age and this age, right? So I'm out of that age where you don't have your high school friends, but you're now in college, right? And you're trying to navigate now how to socialize in that environment. So I go to this group. It was like on a Friday. They met every Friday. I want to say like at 7 o'clock, because I think the sun would be going down at the time. So I get there, and they're in one room, and it's a group of, and they're all guys, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is kind of weird. This is not like we're getting together to like socialize and get to know each other. This is kind of like therapy. So I was doing like the Irish exit, where you're just kind of like, yeah, I'm just gonna kind of ease toward the door and just get the fuck up out of this joint. Right? And so they stopped me, and they're like, no, stay. Like, stay. We do something fun at the very end. We go out afterwards at the end, and they were all really nice. And I'm like, oh, I like these group of guys. They go, you're going to come back next week? I go, yes, I'm going to go back next week. And it was led by 2 women, but the group was for males between a certain age. I go back the next week, and I'm like, this is really good. It's really fun. Like, we're having fun. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like therapy, like you're in the way you think of, like, I'm going here to spill the beans. Like, you were really getting life tools to help resolve conflict. Mm-hmm. Like, one of the things I learned in there was like, in resolving conflict, like, repeat back to the person what you heard them say in your words. Because oftentimes somebody may say something to you, and the way you hear it is not the way they intended it. And you lash out, and the person's like, no, I when I said go eat shit, it was a joke. I didn't really mean go eat shit. And now here you are at my throat, and we're fighting over something that I didn't intend. And another thing we did in there once was we wrote on these index cards. I don't know if you guys know what a damn index card is, but they handed us index cards, right? And they said, write something about everyone in the group. And it instantly gave me anxiety. Because I'm like, I don't know what the hell these motherfuckers are about to say about me, but I know at the end of this, I'm going to kick somebody's ass. And it's not nice. It's going to be a brawl in this bitch at the end of the night if they say something negative about me. And I found these cards actually a couple of years ago.
You kept them?
I still have them. I found them a couple of years ago, actually, like maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. And I was reading through them again, and one guy had wrote, I love your sense of fashion. Now I'm a jeans and a t-shirt kind of guy right now, but back in the day I actually did put it on, right? And so, but that's how that person saw me. And I didn't see myself that way. I thought it was just being eccentric. Mm-hmm. But someone found confidence in me being eccentric and wearing whatever I thought, if it was wooden Dutch clogs I had put on, someone found it. That's why I can paint the nails today, and I don't worry about what someone thinks. Someone was like, I like the fact that you're outspoken and you say things very direct. Oh, but it's insightful. Right? And I thought I was fairly quiet at that point. Now, you can't shut me up now, but then, I thought I was quiet. I only really talked when I was spoken to. But I learned when I did say something, it was impactful. Right? One guy wrote on there like, oh, you have a sense of humor, a way of taking something and make it humorous, and we can laugh at our own dysfunction. Mm-hmm. And I learned I had a way of, I can look at something and I didn't see the negative in everything.
And I see where it was not a negative part because everybody was looking the best in everyone. Because,
yeah.
Right? But let's say social media. Some people get so many likes, so many great comments. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But then the anxiety comes when somebody doesn't see that in you and start writing something negative mm-hmm. about you. So mm-hmm. you mentioned tools, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that most people don't have access to therapy. They don't even know they need therapy, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. I can talk about myself. I didn't know I need therapy. Mm-hmm. I was like, I can talk to myself. I can fix my problems like you did. Mm-hmm. But some people, they don't have the tools to do it. Mm-hmm. but they don't have help, and also they're not aware of they need therapy because they're like, I'm not crazy, I can fix this by myself. So I was reading this statistics about for every 100,000 people in the world, there's only about 16 mental health professionals. So there's a shortage of professionals that can help and assist people, right? Because they know the tools. Need some kind of guidance to go through that. So, I mean, when I ask you about therapy, I know you are capable of fixing your problems, and that's good. There's so many people like you, but the rest of the world don't have that tool.
I think when people think about therapy, they think something has to be wrong with you. Right?
Well, something is wrong with you.
Not necessarily. Not all the time. Therapy allows you to learn tools.
To understand yourself.
To understand situations. And then I can see myself how I react in those situations. Then I start learning about me. And or people decide they want to go to therapy when they're in a situation with someone else. And they think therapy is going to fix that person. We don't go check on our mental health. We just carry everything along.
But it's expensive. It's not accessible to all people. That's the reality. 30 minutes, $120 or more. And then you start thinking, oh, I can talk to ChatGPT.
I've tried that.
And it's a good therapy, right?
Yeah.
So we cannot rely on technology for situations that you know could be a big problem or a small problem. So we rely too much on technology. And I think that's another topic we have to talk about, technology and depression, technology and anxiety, right? We need to focus more on what we really need. And I think mental health assistant therapy is needed for everyone. Like you say, regardless if you have an issue or not, it's just maintenance, right? But I think that like all of us, including the people who are watching, we don't go to therapy.
Well, I mean, to think nothing is wrong with you is something wrong with you, right? It, like you said earlier, we pick up things along the way that's environmental and so on and so forth. So the idea that nothing is wrong with you is crazy. You know, that is delusion at its best, right? Now, how we function with our issues is that's a different conversation, right? And how do we define mental health is another conversation, right? We often think mental health is because someone is schizophrenic or someone is on drugs or something of that nature, and it's something that you can physically see in their behavior.
Yes.
But oftentimes, my belief is you can see mental health in the result. You can see mental health when it's playing out in someone's life negatively.
Yeah.
It's not the physical portion of it. I can go, why is this person always in some shit? Why is this person always in the same situation? Why can't this person move past this issue?
3 trillion every year because of depression or anxiety. People are not performing. People are like, I don't want to go work. I don't want to do this. And they're always like not playing the victim, but you know, they're not making it happen at work. You know,
the scary thing about it is when you even look at production and so on and so forth, just globally, like what world will we live in if all of us had some sort of therapy? Now in politics, right, where you go, where they have things for transgender students or DI, whatever you want to call it now, and you have a different party that comes in and says, no, they're teaching our children the wrong thing. They're converting our children. They're doing whatever to our children, right? And so you have these two groups of people fighting to stay in power, and the kids are the kind of the collateral of that fight, right? So I wish we could do two things. One, I think some sort of free family counseling. If some person in the government is watching, please provide some sort of free government counseling, right? What we're talking about, and it's not socialism, right? They spend billions of dollars and trillions of dollars on things that doesn't matter. Now, I'm not a socialist, I don't believe in socialism to the extent that we want it now, but I think we need something like that for families. because a lot of it is passed down generational, right? And your parents are doing things that their parents did, and they think this is the way you raise your kids. And so they're doing that to their kids. And unconsciously, the kids end up doing it to their children, or it plays out in their life, right? And so I think you need family therapy to be accessible. And I think it's important for kids to know this. You can do things differently. One of the things I did, I think I had a decent childhood, but it wasn't perfect. And if anybody who thinks their childhood was perfect, probably is lying to themselves. But I made a decision one day that I was going to do if I had children and when I became an adult, I was going to do everything that I didn't like differently. Because it was just things I did not like.
But do you think that you can control that? Because sending the kids to public or private education, they're going to be learning good and bad from other students, right? Because everybody comes from different culture, different perception, different way of seeing things. They're coming from families that are like separated, or they're happy families. So the sad part is we cannot control even protecting your kids when they go to school. You want your kids to be better, right? But how do you want to do? You want to have homeschool?
No, I made the choice for myself that I wanted to be better. I made the choice one day, something happened, and I made the conscious choice that I was going to do everything that I hated differently. If I hated the fact that I didn't get to express the way I felt, I was going to do that differently if I had children as I got older. If I didn't like being told to shut up, I wasn't going to tell someone to shut up when unless it was just absolutely necessary. I made a conscious decision that I was going to do things differently. That's a hard thing for many people to do, right? And oftentimes it comes from trauma, and you just go, oh shit, I can't do this no more, I got to change, But I think for people I give that advice to people that are in families that feel like my family won't go to counseling and they need it. I don't have access to counseling and I need it. Start by making the decision you're going to do things differently than what your family does. That's the first thing you can do. And you'll start looking around at other examples of people who live the life you want. If it's more love you want, you'll start noticing it in other families. If it's less of this you want, you'll start noticing it in other people. And like we said earlier, you start mimicking that behavior, faking it until you make it. If I want more love, I'm going to be more loving, right? If I want more peace, I'll be more peaceful. If I want less violence, I'll be less violent. So if you don't, as a kid in a household, that you may feel like it is falling apart in front of your very eyes, and you can't get counseling, your family won't get counseling because they believe my mom and dad fought all the time, and they did this all the time, and my dad was an alcoholic, and this is just what men do. You can make the decision to be different. And you just stay conscious. And when you find yourself doing those things unconsciously that you've picked up as you grew up, you will go, I remember they used to do this in the house. No, I'm not going to be like this. I believe that, one, you teach your kids to be a lover of peace, be caring, be kind. But if somebody started, I would teach my kids. Okay? If somebody started, finish it. Right? And they'll gain a confidence. And sometimes finishing doesn't mean physical. Sometimes finish it, you can verbally finish it.
So somebody call you all like names, you call them names back?
I sure did. You call me something, I can call you 20 of those worse than you did. There was a guy in school, man, I think I told you before, punched me in the eye because of my mouth. Man, you thought he could go back and forth with me. You never want to do that. I have like a tongue of acid. And everyone is probably like, oh, he's generally very nice. But it's a control.
So you think that this part of the childhood, like life experiences towards mental health, is due that parents don't allow the kids to respond back? Because, if you go to schools, one of the rules is do not respond to the aggressor. Do not respond to the bully guy. Just go and complain to the teacher or complain to the principal, but do not respond back. So they're going to be continuing experience those things, and at the end of the day, they're going to be tired. Like, oh, what I need to complain? I mean, nothing changed.
Well, I shared the story with you about my crazy Aunt Nora, and I'm gonna share it with y'all because y'all don't get to hear it, and y'all gonna get to hear about the crazy Aunt Nora. We were out. I had an Aunt Nora. She's my great aunt, and Nora was just crazy as hell.
I know.
That's the best way to describe her. Was batshit crazy, right? And so we were at her house one time, and there was the kid Stevie. They lived in her neighborhood, and Stevie, they called him the big kid, which means he was older and taller than everyone else, right? And Stevie would terrorize. He was the bully. He would terrorize the kids.
Everybody
in the neighborhood. So they ran one day, and I ran. I don't know what the hell I was running for, but I know if they were running from Stevie's ass,
yes.
I better get there too.
I mean, everybody does. If somebody's running and you're looking around, you follow, right?
I'm not waiting for the monster to get us. What the hell are we running from? We get to Nora's house, we're out of breath, and then Nora's like, what happened? And we're telling her, Stevie chased us. And then Nora was like, did you pass a rock? Did you pass a stick? Did you pass some dirt? Did you pass this? And I remember I had passed a big fence post, a board off of a fence. And I went back and I picked that board up and I chased Stevie's ass to that neighborhood. Stevie never bothered me again. And then to set an example for the rest of the kids that if you bothered that one, there was going to be consequences, right? But the bigger thing to it, and people are probably watching and go, that's child abuse. You don't teach your kids to be violent,
exactly,
right? You shouldn't do that. But I got confidence out of it. That I can handle myself in any situation. And like I said the other day, everybody's going to experience a Stevie. And Stevie may not be a person, but Stevie can be a problem. Stevie can be issues that you're facing, right? And if you run all the time, you will run past opportunities to overcome that challenge. I ran past a board. There was an opportunity to stop that. I ran past a rock. There was an opportunity. As I'm older, I can see it like that,
correct, yeah.
But those are opportunities and those are things you take from that. Now, on the flip side, you could teach our children to defend yourself. It doesn't always have to be physical, but verbally you can defend yourself and sometimes know when to walk away. I think we have a lot of kids that are dying because they don't know when to walk away. And those that walk away can live to fight another day. Yeah. If I see you with 20 of your friends, I may be able to beat your ass.
But also teach them self-love, right? Mm-hmm. Because they can defend themselves, right? Mm-hmm. But they need to learn how to love themselves. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we lack of that too, because somebody called me a nickname I don't like, but I love myself. I just like, call me all the names you want. I don't care.
But I think when you know that you can defend yourself, you can control yourself at the same time, right? Because I know I'm capable of doing whatever I need to do to defend myself doesn't mean I have to do it. So if you call me a name, it don't bother me because I know what I can do to you if you get out of control, right? And so that goes back to what I said earlier. Don't start it. Be a lover of peace. Be kind. Be caring. Be a lover of peace. And don't start it. Finish it. Right? And sometimes finishing, if somebody calls you a name, I had a guy one time called me all kind of N-words. It didn't bother me. And I agitated him because I started laughing.
How old were you?
Well, I was probably in my 20s. And I'm like, is that the best you can do? Like, really, is that the best you can do? That's so old. It's outdated. Like, come up with something new. But I'm free. You don't have control over me. And that sometimes is the best defense against a bully, is the fact that they don't have control over you. And now you may be scared out of your pants. You may be scared shitless, but if you can put up a facade, I'm not bothered. And that fucks a person's head up because they're looking for that reaction and you're not giving them the reaction that they want. So to your point where you're saying, you shouldn't possibly teach your kids, someone's calling you a name, that their first response is to be physical or to respond back. When you're a lover of peace, some things don't bother you. Just know I'm in control.
But as a kid, everything affects you, right? Because you're naive. You're like, as a kid, you are being shaped by the environment.
Mm-hmm. If you own somebody's mind, you own all of them. You control all of them, right? But part of owning them, they have to have fear, right? And part of fear is life with me is not good, but life without me is even worse. So you need me. Even though it's not good, you still need me. And so when you always keep that person in a constant balance of fear, of life without you is not good, life without you is even worse. I know I beat you a little bit.
When you're crazy, you're there to do stuff. You're a doer.
Yeah.
Right? You're a doer.
Yeah. I really do. I feel like I'm lucky in many ways to have the family I have. They may be crazy in many parts, but I do feel like even in their dysfunction, they're functional. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that.
Because you're not distracted. You focus. Like, you want to do something. You're crazy. You have a goal. Let's do it, right? But I think that in this world, we're designed to be the followers or the doers. You picked. And it's the tools you have. You cannot decide. Some people don't have the tool to be a doer, and they want somebody to lead them. And it's this world, right?
I think it's human nature. I don't even think it's the world. I think it's human nature. Some people don't do out of fear, and some people do because of fear. I do a lot of things because of fear. I go out and have to kill something every day and accomplish something every day because my fear of not being successful, right? And so I do certain, fear pushes me to do the things that I want to do because I feel like if I don't do them, what my life is going to be like without doing those things, right? And my mom used to always say, don't be a follower, be a leader. I could not find a job for the love of Christ. Nobody would hire me.
Dude, you're crazy.
Because they were fearful of me, right? And so I went, there was a guy, his name was Elon, a girl named Ophira, and David. They were from New York. They were Jewish from New York. And right before I quit that job, my boss, Jim, he told me, George, you have a really unique gift. Like, you can walk into a room and you can see what everybody else in the room has missed. And you go after that one thing. And we all was right there, and it was not in our face, right? And so I'm like, I can't find a job. And they were like, we're going to overpay. And so when I went on this interview with David and them, David said the same thing. He says, you know why? He goes, nobody's going to hire you because you're a horrible follower. He goes, your problem is that you're a hammer and you see the world as a nail. You can build anything out of it. You're never going to make a good employee. You're a horrible follower. Instantly, I knew out of fear, I had to create something. I said, you know what? You're going to need a consultant. And he starts laughing, and he goes, let me guess, you have a consulting company. I said, yep, starting today. Wow. And I started that first business that day out of fear that I was going to walk out with nothing. And I had several no's of jobs I was overqualified for, even willing to take a pay cut for. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I've never had to have another employer since then. I've been self-employed ever since then.
Yeah. So I think that it's not like you're lucky, it's built in your DNA, right?
Yeah.
So to come to the end of this episode 4 of mental health, there are so many people like you, like I said, their DNA is something else. But what is going to be your advice for people that they can have the tools that you have? What are the recommendations you might give to them? Like, if they have an issue, what are the steps they need to do? Don't think about what you're going to do because you're capable of fixing things. You're not a follower. But for people like me that they need guidance, what would be the advice that you can give it to them?
One, you're stuck. And you're stuck by your own limitations of your own beliefs of yourself. Start seeing yourself different than you see yourself. Even if it's faking it till you make it. Stay faithful to whatever it is. Stay focused and always move forward. And no matter what happens to you, it's all working together for the good. Keep your mind also in motion. An idle mind is the devil's playground. So if you're always moving forward, you don't have time for the voices to talk to you. I have the same voices that want to chime in, but because I'm always going forward and I don't stay stagnant, and I just don't stay idle, they don't have time to plant a seed of fear in me. So stay faithful, stay focused, always move forward.
Guys, thanks for watching. And remember, we all adictos al
Drama!
Adictos al drama, adictos al drama.